In this video, we will use Green Mountain Flex to perform a typical repair in a concrete wall. After viewing this tape, you will be familiar with each stage of the process. The repair we will perform in this video will be a failed construction joint. Expansion joints and cracks are repaired using the same procedure. The joint we will fix has some water leakage. Cracks with flowing water are not a problem. In fact, we prefer them. If a crack is not leaking at the time of repair, there will probably still be enough moisture in the concrete to react to the grout. However, to expedite the process, water may be introduced to the area by squirting some into the holes you will drill. Because of its hydrophobic characteristics, a small amount of water will completely react to the grout. The items we will need for the repair job are mountain grout. The rule of thumb is that 1 gallon of mountain grout is sufficient to repair at least 15 feet of crack or joint. With experience, many more feet may be treated. Mountain grout accelerator, also called catalyst. This comes in 1-pint containers. 1 pint is usually more than enough for 5 gallons of grout. Cementitious grout. We may need a small amount for patching the injection ports once the job is finished, if aesthetics is a concern. Pump flush. It is a good idea to keep plenty of pump flush handy. Pump flush is essential to the pump operation. Pump flush is available from Green Mountain. It is not hazardous and does not contain solvents. If using a brand other than Green Mountain, make sure that it does not contain any moisture. Moisture will react with the grout and may cause the pump to seize up. Packers. You will need enough packers to place one at approximately every 12 inches along the crack. Wider cracks require fewer packers. Packers, also called injection ports, are available from Green Mountain. The job will require the following tools. Safety glasses. These are essential because of the high pressures in the pump, but should be worn when mixing material and drilling holes, as well as when using the pump. A small ratchet for sinking packers. You will also need a thin-walled, deep-weld socket to fit over the packers, pliers or vice grips, a good drill, one suitable for boring through the concrete. We recommend a hammer drill such as those made by Hilti, Bosch, or Black & Decker. Drill bit, at least 24 inches long. A paddle mixer with a power drill are normally used, but if these are not available, the accelerator may be mixed in by hand. 1 or 2 clean, dry, 5-gallon buckets for mixing and a pump. Most airless sprayers will work fine. Airless sprayers are typically called paint sprayers. Use one that generates at least 2,000 psi. Alternately, a grease gun or hand pump may be used instead of a sprayer for smaller projects. The hand pump shown here is a model CP5 made by the Lilly Corporation. This pump is a Lincoln 1292. These are available through your local material supplier or Green Mountain. When repairing a vertical surface, drill the hole first at the lowest level. Mountain grout by nature rises as it reacts. On horizontal, you may begin anywhere along the crack. Drill injection holes to intersect the crack at 1/2 the thickness of the concrete. This wall is about 14 inches thick, so we will drill to intersect the crack at about 7 inches. When in doubt, deeper is better. Drill at an angle and start at least a few inches away from the crack in order to avoid having the concrete break out when injecting. Alternate sides of the crack as you will drill each port. When repairing a concrete slab, such as a floor, drill relief holes. This will prevent too much pressure from forming under the slab when the grout is injected. Expanding grout could cause lifting or breaking of the slab. Relief holes are rarely, if ever, needed on vertical surfaces. Sink the injection ports with a socket wrench. Make them firmly secure, but don't over-tighten. The packers can break. Before putting grout in the pump, you must use pump flush to make sure the pump is working properly and to purge the pump and hoses of any moisture. Remember that even the moisture in the air can activate the grout. This is a situation that can be avoided by checking to be sure the pump is operating properly by pumping pump flush through it before the grout is used. Also, pump flush allows us to keep the whole pump system sealed. Pump flush or grout is kept in the lines at all times. Pump some pump flush through the pump. If there is any residual moisture in the lines, it will be flushed out at this time. Make sure the mountain grout is thoroughly mixed and that no separation has occurred during the storage of the product. If available, use an electric mixer. Otherwise, it can be stirred by hand in an open 5-gallon bucket. Mountain grout should not be allowed to freeze. However, if it has, it may be reconstituted. Consult with Green Mountain for instructions. Estimate the amount of grout you will need for the job. This leaking joint will require about 1 gallon of grout. Pour the amount of grout required into a clean, dry bucket. It is important to make sure that anything which comes into contact with the liquid grout is dry. Water acts as a catalyst to trigger the setting reaction. We are now ready to add the accelerator. Using a dry stirring rod, mix in the appropriate amount of accelerator. For most crack or joint repair jobs, 1 pint of accelerator is recommended for 5 gallons of grout. This works out to be 2.5% by volume of accelerator to grout. That mixture will work fine for repairing the leaking joint we have here. Since we are mixing 1 gallon of grout, we will use 1/5 of a pint of accelerator. In cracks or joints where there is rapidly flowing water, more accelerator may be used to speed up the reaction time of the material. If in doubt about how much accelerator to use, be conservative. More accelerator can always be added. Some experimentation may be necessary depending on water flow, temperature, and the equipment being used. Add the accelerator slowly and stir continuously. You should stir for approximately 3 minutes to mix 5 gallons of grout. For 1 gallon, about 30 seconds of stirring is sufficient. Use caution not to whip air into the mixture. Once the grout is activated, we are ready to put it into the pump. Put the output hose of the pump into a container where you can collect the pump flush that will be flushed out of the pump. Start the pump and watch for a color change to indicate that the pump flush has been expelled and the grout is now flowing through the pump. A small amount of pump flush, which might mix with the grout in the pump, will not hurt the mixture. At this point, it is recommended that you check the reaction time of the mixture. Pump a small amount of grout into a plastic cup. Now add a few drops of water to the cup and stir vigorously. Time how long it takes for the reaction to occur. For a standard mixture, it should take about 30 seconds to begin and another minute and a half for the material to become fully expanded once water has been added. This will allow the grout to travel deep into the crack or void before a reaction occurs. If the grout reacted as expected, it is ready to use. If not, add more grout or accelerator to the mixture to obtain the desired results. Inject each port with an initial injection. As grout is injected into the void, any water present will be forced up and out. After injecting each port, watch where the water is coming out and look to see where the grout is making its way into the surface. You will see bubbling as the grout begins reacting and outgassing. Here is the joint 3 minutes after the first injection. You can see that the water leak has stopped and that the grout has reacted and expanded. We will come back and inject each hole again. This time we will not pump quite as much grout. Areas where we did not get good coverage with the first injection will get a little more attention this time. Continue injecting each port until you see grout coming up all along the crack. Once you see the material, allow a few minutes for it to set. After this step, if you don't think enough material has been injected, more may be added. Generally, it takes about 2 or 3 injections at each port to permanently seal a crack. Enough material now has been injected into the crack. We will let this set for a few more minutes and then examine the repair. Our small crack injection project is almost finished. The grout is cured and we see that we have a good coverage along the joint. We are ready for cleanup. Scrape off excess grout. A flat shovel, ice scraper, or putty knife works well for this. If any grease zerks are protruding, break them off or bend them in. Then, if you desire, patch the ports with a little cementitious grout. Our crack repair is now completed. Remember to flush the pump. The remaining grout should be flushed out and replaced with pump flush. Keep pump flush in the pump until the next time it is used. With proper cleanup, your pump will last for many crack repair projects. As you have seen, Mountain Grout Flex is well suited for concrete repair jobs. Being a hydrophobic polyurethane product, it repels water and seals up cracks and joints much better than other grouts. Once it is set, it will not shrink, even if its environment becomes totally dry. After you are familiar with the procedure for using mountain grout for crack repair, a new and lucrative market will be open to you. The product is extremely durable, yet environmentally friendly. Mountain grout is UL listed for drinking water contact under NSF Specification 61-1989 and has been approved for projects by the USDA and the Environmental Protection Agency. At Green Mountain International, we pride ourselves in and continue to improve our service. Our toll-free 800 number and fax number are for your convenience, and you will not be kept waiting to get the information you need. We feel our technical representatives are the best and most experienced grouters to be found anywhere, and they are available to you. These technical representatives are hands-on people who are not only intimately familiar with the grouts, but also with the equipment necessary to place them. They are at your disposal. The most important consideration when choosing a chemical grout is its effectiveness. Since 1987, Green Mountain International has been providing polyurethane chemical grouts which are straightforward to apply and have been proven to be safe and effective over a period of many years.